Do you all like Mary Jane?
Wait, what's that, Jasmine?
You know, cannabis, reefer, weed, marijuana?
Yeah, that's legal now, right, in Michigan?
Exactly. So stay tuned with Ladies in Laws to learn the ins and outs of recreational marijuana laws in Michigan.
Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in.
Make sure you like our video and subscribe to the Ladies in Law.
Yeah, you know that little heart and thumbs up at the bottom of your screen? Click it before you do anything else.
Right, because legal news like this is too hot to miss, and we're bringing it to you every Thursday at 3 p.m. I'm Rippy.
And I'm Shay.
And we're the Ladies in Law.
Where we're ripping and shaking up all of the legal information you know, need to know, and want to know.
From the tabloids to the courthouse to your own home.
For this episode, we're going to be discussing recreational marijuana laws in Michigan. What you can do, can't do, what your employers and landlords can and can't do, all of that stuff. So just like alcohol, you've got to be 21 years old to get marijuana. And guess what? You've got to get it from a recreational dispensary that's got it legalized and licensed by the state. That's the only place you can get it
for recreational, not just marijuana. They have to be specifically licensed for recreational marijuana sales.
The cool thing is, in Metro Detroit, there's a lot of these dispensaries popping up. Hazel Park, Inkster, I think
Wall Lake, River Rouge.
Ann Arbor's been for a while. So they're all around. And really, we all need to know what's going on with these changes in law.
Now, the legal amount of marijuana that you can actually possess is up to 2.5 ounces. Remember that, 2.5 ounces. So that's roughly 70 joints that are a gram each. Yeah. Now, there is an exception to this. Now, if you are inside your home, you can possess up to 10 ounces. So that's 4 times the amount. In addition, you can grow up to 12 plants for personal use only. Personal use.
Please.
Only.
Personal.
Now, let's say you want to give your friend some marijuana that you grow, or whatever the case may be. That's fine, as long as the person that you give the marijuana to is over 21 years old, and as long as you stay within that legal limit of 2.5 ounces, it's fine. In addition, you know, the gifts cannot be part of some type of public advertisement or promotion. It has to be, you know, personal, one-on-one, somebody that
personal.
You know. Personal.
We cannot stress that enough.
Personal.
So, okay, that's what you can do. It seems like, oh, that's pretty open-ended. Well, you need to know what you cannot do with the new laws for recreational marijuana.
Because there's really more that you can't do.
There's a lot more
than you can do.
Yeah, like, okay, so people think, oh, I'm smoking a blunt, like a cigarette. No problem. I'm going to walk down the street and do that. You're going to, like, go smoking weed down the street. No, you can't do that. You just can't.
You can't just walk down the street, you know, smoking a joint or blunt. That's not going to fly. The law treats marijuana more like alcohol, where you can't walk around with an open container. You can't walk around with a lit, you know, marijuana joint, blunt, whatever the case may be.
Because you're going to feel like, oh, this is normal. No, it's not. You got to remember that it's still marijuana. It's not a cigarette. It's a totally different thing. But what you can do is you can smoke as if you're smoking a cigarette in a lounge that's been okayed as a marijuana usage lounge. The problem is Michigan doesn't have any of these yet. So maybe if you're feeling like an entrepreneur, like, go after it and be the first to do it. But currently,
you'll make a lot of money. You know?
You probably will, because there's none of them yet. So that's where you can do it. Now, a big issue we've run into with our clients is driving. And if they're a passenger or the driver. So as a driver, you cannot consume while you're driving or be under the influence of marijuana as you're driving if you consumed it before. Whether it's smoking or edibles, it just won't fly. No. Just like alcohol, cannot happen. We've had a lot of clients have this issue, like, oh, I wasn't smoking during the time. They'll still find a way to prove that
if you're still under that influence. Now, however long that influence stays on you, you know, it's different from person to person. But if you're driving under that influence, that's illegal.
Now, but you can possess in your vehicle the 2.5 ounces that's legal. And as long as it's not being consumed or you're not under the influence, you should be good. You can possess it. Now, as a passenger, you're probably thinking, oh, I'm good. Like, I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to smoke and have a good time.
No.
We all know contact high. Yeah, the judges, everybody, legislation.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing. So passengers cannot be actually smoking marijuana while they're in the car with somebody driving. You just can't. And because it could be contact high. But you can consume an edible and you can also possess that legal limit of 2.5 ounces. So that's what you can and can't do when it comes to the vehicle.
Now let's say you all, have a green thumb and you want to take a shot at growing some marijuana plants. Now there's two main things that you need to know. First thing you need to know is that the marijuana plants that you grow inside your home, because remember we said you can only grow inside your own home, they cannot be visible to the public via plain view. So what that really means is that if somebody's walking down the street and they just happen to glance in your window, they should not be able to see marijuana plants at all without the use of some type of binoculars or drones or other type of visual aids other than just regular prescription glasses. So that's number one. Number two, the area that you grow in has to be enclosed, and it has to have locks or some type of functioning security device that restricts access to that area. So number one, can't be visible to plain view, and number two, you got to have restrictions and locks and stuff like that.
Try to overprotect than underprotect.
Exactly.
Much better that way.
Let's err on the side of caution when it comes to that. Now another thing that you cannot do, you cannot possess or consume any type of marijuana products whatsoever on a school grounds, and this includes preschool all the way up to 12th grade. It also includes a school bus, so parents don't walk on the school bus, with some weed.
Keep your weed in the house.
Yeah, just keep it in the house. Another thing that you can't, instance where you cannot possess or consume marijuana is on the grounds of a correctional facility, for obvious reasons here. But it says the grounds. It doesn't just say the facility. So just keep in mind that if you're going to visit someone at a jail, just don't even have it in your car because you're technically still on the grounds in order to park there.
Yeah, just err on the side of caution. These laws are not loose. There's a lot of, like we said, you can't. Another you can't comes with employers and what goes on with that. So you're probably thinking, well, heck, I can, smoke and have an edible and be under the influence and working. It's legal. I'm in the right limit. Guess what? The law says that employers can still have a no drug policy or a no marijuana policy, and that's okay. And they can take adverse action against you if you fail to follow that policy.
So what that means is they can fire you, they can demote you, or whatever the case. They can refuse to hire you in the first place if they feel like if you've been using marijuana and they have a drug-free policy. Right.
And you have no way of retaliating back or trying to get your job. It's just, that's the way the law is.
Now, property owners and property managers can also limit people as far as possessing and using and growing and distributing marijuana on their property grounds. Now, however, they cannot prevent someone from consuming edibles or just merely possessing marijuana on them. So, for example, the most common incidents would be landlords.
Yes.
So landlords cannot prevent tenants from consuming edibles or any type of non-smokable product, but they can prevent someone from growing and smoking on their premises.
Okay, so another thing that's really important is we do a lot of family law, and we deal with a lot of custody cases. And even before marijuana was in the picture as something that's legal, the recreational use, people were arguing like, oh, my ex smokes, so they can't be around my child.
He's an unfit parent. I should have full custody.
Well, you're not scot-free now that it's legal. Yeah, just because you are using it legally, it's not against you. So you're not starting out like, oh, I use it legally and I'm screwed. No, but there is still a standard and kind of a test that's applied. And that is, if your behavior creates an unreasonable danger to the child that can be clearly articulated and substantiated, like evidence to show that it's creating a danger, then yeah, even though you're using it within the legal limits of these parameters and everything, it could really impact your ability to have custodial rights of your child.
And just another, to expand on that, for those of you who don't know, the way that custody is determined in Michigan, there's a host of factors. So
Oh
this
my
is just one of the things. So just because you smoke weed, or they try to say you smoking weed is a disadvantage to your custody case, there's a ton of other factors that need to be proven. So this is not the end all be all here.
No, it's not. But you should know that it just doesn't like check mark, I'm good. Make sure you really got your T's crossed and your I's dotted.
Lastly, now we all know weed is legal here in Michigan. It's also legal in Canada, but do not try to transport it across the border. Even though it's legal, these separate places, it's still illegal under federal law, and that's actually considered, trafficking illicit drugs over national borders, which is clearly a federal crime.
Yeah, don't do that, please. Just get your weed over in Canada, or get
it here. Just keep everything all separate.
Don't do that. So thanks for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe so that you get all of the hottest legal news every week from the Ladies in Law.
That's another episode of Ladies in Law. Rip it up, shake it up, rip it up, shake it up, rip it up.